Well, today's episode is going to review the latest New Japan Pro Wrestling Road to Dominion Day 2 that contains the main event for the championship match, the Never Openweight 6-man tag team championships that is between LIJ members and, of course, Chaos. Also going to throw in an event that took place this past March by Stardom, the 10th anniversary All-Star Dream Cinderella. Also a DDT event that took place the month before that, Doesn't Know Gunma Yet. So all of that will be reviewed, talked, and discussed on this episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, let's begin with the latest New Japan Road to Dominion Day 2. This took place on June 2nd. Now, this particular event was very special because the main event was for the Never Openweight 6-man tag team championships. But that will be at nearly the end of this part of the episode for the New Japan stuff. So let's go from start to finish on this one. The opening match is Bullet Club members El Phantasmo, Taiji Shimura, Chase Owens, and of course Evil, along with the spoiler himself, Dick Togo, taking on two of the young lions, Yuya Uemura, Yota Tsuji, teaming with veterans Tomi Akihama and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Now, this match, you can guess right away when it comes to having one half of another team that has young lions, it's a 50-50 chance that it could lose, because that's how the young lions are. Because when they lose, they actually learn for their previous or upcoming matches they have to face. But of course, you know there's certain antics that comes from the Bullet Club. One of them is El Phantasmo, where he does these shenanigans, and of course he likes the back scratch. He did that with Yota Tsuji. So you can guess right away that it's Bullet Club that took the victory, all because of their usual tactics, sneaking up from behind, low blowing, or of course Dick Togo's garage. So however it goes. But it was not a story build-up match, but you can instantly guess it was a good one. So that's pretty much it for that. Now the next match, we have Ryusuke Taguchi teaming up with the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions Roppongi 3K, taking on Suzuki-gun members, all members of the Junior Heavyweight division from that unit, or should I say the faction. We got Doiki, Kanemaru, and Despy. Now, the reason I say all three members are junior heavyweights, they are because they have been involved in the junior heavyweight division. But it was a good match, not to mention. But the way this match ended, this one has a story build up, if you guys know this or not. I mentioned this before. He is currently now on the hunt for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title that is currently being held by Desperado, or as we call him, Despy. So ever since Yo came back and he and Sho obtained the IWGP Junior Tag Team titles, now he's gunning for the title that has been eluding him, and that is the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. So, but however, he actually picked up the victory for this match to allow himself to put Doiki in a submission and sending a clear message to Desperado that his time is almost up, that title will be soon coming to him. So this is going to be a very interesting junior heavyweight match between these two. I know that Despy has faced Joe, but this time we're going to see what Yo can do as a singles competitor. Now you probably asked me, J-Rod, has he ever been as a singles competitor? On the only occasions he has is only if he's involved in the best of the Super Juniors. That's pretty much it, but Beyond that, I'm not 100% sure. But if anybody knows about that, please let me know. Leave a comment down below so I can look it up. Next match, we got, of course, Bullet Club. Gedo teaming up with the GOD, Tama Tonga and Tangaloa, to take on Suzuki-gun members, Minoru Suzuki, the King, and, of course, the new IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, Dangerous Takers, Zack Sabre Jr., and Taichi. Now, you can guess right away that the Dangerous Takers are gloating, knowing that they finally did the one thing they said they're going to do, is to reclaim what was theirs. Now, if you guys follow me or not in this one, Dangerous Takers lost the tag team titles at some point earlier this year because they believe that they are the true of what pure tag team is. But come on, we all know the tactics with these guys, how they roll. But that's how it is. But however, the match started up with Bullet Club attacking Suzuki-gun, trying to set up a statement. But however, I feel like their mistake was having Gedo involved because he's not a strong player. They normally would have Yado, but I'm assuming he got hurt or was not clear to wrestle. But because of that, it did allow for Zack Sabre Jr. to put Gedo in a submission to make him tap out. And that's how they won that. Next match, once again, we got the rivalry between Cobb and Ibushi. United Empire, Khan and Cobb taking on Master Wato and, of course, Ibushi. Now, I mentioned this before, this rivalry is getting so intensified between both Ibushi and Cobb. If you guys want a refresher, this happened back in the G1 Climax this last year, where Ibushi eliminated Jeff Cobb. But however, when Ibushi lost the IWGP World Heavyweight title to Will Ospreay, Cobb hasn't forgotten, and instead of letting him walk away with dignity, they decided to beat him. Cobb decided to get payback to make it further, but now he's back. But here's what happened. The match ended where Cobb had to make Ibushi watch where Khan took out Master Wato. But however, the United Empire may have won the match, but the feud between these two individuals began to intensify even further. So this is to continue much of the fight outside the ring, even Cobb believes that he can take him out. But it's still no word yet. Now, my presumption is that their match between Cobb and Ibushi could take place in Dominion. I'm not 100% sure, but if it does, I can't wait to see it. Now let's get to the main event, which is for the Never Openweight 6-man Tag Team Championships. These championships are obtained by Chaos members Yoshihashi, Tomohiro Ishii, and of course Hiroki Goto. Now, they obtained these titles earlier this year after Evil defected to Bullet Club. So they had to set up a tournament who was going to win, and of course these three individuals won it. Now as for Naito, he's currently on a jealousy mode, knowing that Shingo Takagi is now up in grabs to obtain the IWGP World Heavyweight title. So Naito has talked to Bushi and Sanada if they're up for the challenge to fight for these titles, and they agreed. So this is one of those matches where can the LIJ be the ones to determine. Now these are strong competitors. Now, each member has a great strength and weaknesses. But however, I feel with this Chaos combination, Yoshihashi, Ishii, and Goto, it's perfect. The reason I say this is because Goto sorry about that, I hate that. Anyway, Goto and Ishii are two of the strongest wrestlers, but now with Yoshihashi coming in back, he has becoming a stronger competitor and much better performer, and that's what I like about it. But the best way the match ended was Yoshihashi proving how strong he has become when he applied the butterfly effect on Bushi and making him tap out. So in this case, the Chaos members Yoshihashi, Ishii, and Goto retained the Never Openweight 6-man Tag Team Championships. So, the real question is, Who will be the next contenders? Who knows? But let's continue moving forward. Okay, I mentioned this before. This is one of Stardom's events that took place this past early March. This is the 10th anniversary All-Star Dream Cinderella. Think of it as their version of WrestleMania. This one took place in Nippon Budokan. There was a lot of good things. I have to say this is one of the best events of the night, but also that's what everybody been saying and reviewing all of this, even though I didn't witness it a few months back, but I know it's a little late. But it's a good event to watch and see what kind of matches they were. The opening match was the High Speed Championship. Now, for some of you who are new, some of you who have been watching this channel probably ask, what the hell is a High Speed Championship? Think of it as high speed like the Cruiserweight, but much faster pace. The challenger of this match was none other than Donna Del Mondo's member Natsupoi taking on Queen's Quest and one of the most popular wrestlers in Stardom, Azumi. Now, this match was set up a while back where Natsupoi challenged Azumi for the title. It was a good match because it defines what high speed is all about. If you guys don't know this or not, AEW star Riho was champion of the High Speed Championship. So before the pandemic started, she was doing work with Stardom, but when she was stuck in Japan during the restrictions, she was for a while the High Speed Champion, but she lost the title to Azumi in a triple threat match. But it was a good match, but I was surprised seeing the kind of capability and athleticism from Natsupoi. If you guys know this, she looks more like she was training for the Olympic gymnastics, and she's really impressive. And she won by applying this type of move where you grab the opponent and use some sort of like a flip cartwheel or whatever it was. But it was a good match, so really good one. I did like this one. The next match, this is for the Goddesses of Stardom titles. These are the tag team titles between challengers, Odatai members Saki Kashima, Natsuko Tora, and versus DDMs Himeka and Maika. Now, Himeka and Maika won these titles from the other members of Odatai, Konami and Bae Priestley. But of course, Natsuko and Kashima, they made a decision to challenge for these titles, and that's what they did. Now, to me, I didn't feel like this was one of those title matches that I was pumped about, because it felt like, you know, they were just filling up the gap in certain ways. But it was a good match. Not even though, you got to keep in mind, Natsuko, she doesn't play by the rules. That's why she brings a lot of her toys. That includes tables and chains to win the matches, but it was no good whatsoever until it was, of course, DDM that won the match. Pretty much I'd say it was a good one, but not that good. But like I said, that's how I felt about it. But we must keep moving forward to review more. But it was good, not that good, you know, in my perspective. Now, we had a little surprise in this one. We received a little video package from 3 wrestling stars. The first one is coming all the way here to the United States, who is now the former NXT Women's Champion. I'm talking about Io Shirai. Now, some of you probably saying, why is Io Shirai sending a video? If you guys know this or not, Io Shirai was originally from Stardom, and she was the original leader of Queen's Quest. So I don't know what they're saying, but I'm glad. But it was great for the fans to hear from them and all that. The next person to talk was, of course, the ace of New Japan Pro Wrestling, Hiroshi Tanahashi. People know who they are. As you know, Stardom and New Japan are part of the same company, Bushiroad. And finally, the last person to send a video package is none other than Kairi Sane, or as Kairi Hana made her appearances there. Also, if you guys know this or not, Kairi Sane was also from Stardom. Now, Kairi Sane did stated that she wanted to make a one-off in this particular show, but WWE denied the request, because I know Bushiroad wants her back, but WWE are not going to let that happen. But it is what it is. Now, the next match is the All-Star Rumble match. Now, I'm not going to go on who is involved, but I can tell you it's a long list of wrestlers, not only from Stardom, but also Stardom's past, also freelancers who bounced from one promotion to the next. But we had people from DDT Pro Wrestling, Got to Move, World Women's Pro Wrestling Diana, and of course Marvelous. But there were several matches. In this particular match, I did mention Mina Shirakawa was injured last December on her birthday during a match, and this was her return after 2 months. But the best part I did like of this match is the surprise appearance of Kikutaro. If you guys know who he is, he's that guy with the mask kind of like cartoonish. He shows up. Every woman in wrestling knows he's a bit of a pervert. In the story wise, the character wise, how he plays it. So what happened is, as soon as they got rid of the head of Marvelous, that's when they noticed Kikutaro was right there, and all the girls were running away like scared little girls, thinking they don't want nothing to do with them. And then they shoved Unagi Sayaka of the Cosmic Angels in order to, I don't know what he was saying, but he had her on his arm like this, and he was talking to her. But when Mina managed to break her away from him, once again, being the pervert that he is, he gets on top of them. Starlight Kid even tries to intervene, but no luck. But the head of Marvelous, I forgot her name, but I know her last name is Nagoya, or Nagoyu. She even had a little conversation with him. I don't know what they were saying, but I think whatever it was, because the people who were there watching were laughing. But he does the most craziest thing. He touches her chest, and you can hear the girls go, "Ah!" Yeah, so basically that's what happened. I didn't know what to expect. She goes back in the ring, grabs his hands, and once again have his hands on her chest. But it did not end there. She clobber knocked him, and then all the other girls, including the ref, were kicking him down until finally he was eliminated. But the best part of the match, how it ended, it's where two of the Cosmic Angels, Mina and Unagi, along with another wrestler who's well known, were the last three. But to my surprise, I did not expect who was going to be the last person standing, and that person turned out to be Unagi Sayaka. Now, I asked myself, why would they do that? If you guys know this or not, Unagi joined Stardom last November, and this took place in March, so do the math right there. So, but however, I will tell this because it's already months ago, Unagi is now officially with Stardom. But it was a good match, a great moment for her. Now, this next match is a grudge match, or a special singles grudge match between Seedling's founder, but also a former member of the roster of Stardom, Naia Takahashi, taking on Momo Watanabe. Now, this particular match took place when one day Takahashi and Yoshiko returned after 5 years since they left Stardom. Now, if you guys know the history or not, Yoshiko was responsible when she took a shoot spot and attacked Act, who was one of the wrestlers, and blustered her face. Yoshiko was forced to leave. Naia Takahashi was amongst those who decided, because of the incident, they decided to leave. But they formed their own promotion called Seedling, which means beyond the sea, or across the sea, whatever they call it. So Momo challenged Takahashi, but this is a good match in a way, because from my understanding about Momo, she is one of the most toughest competitors. She had this killer instinct, and she went back to that trade route as a killer instinct wrestler. But however, the aggressiveness of both Naia Takahashi was so intensified, you don't know for a fact if even Momo has in it with her to finish her off, but it did not. Takahashi won. She even tried to gain Momo's respect, but no. Momo decided, F you. And she walked away. So basically, this is a match for Seedling that it's a good thing for them. The next match, this one is for the SWA Undisputed World Women's Championship between Odetai members Konomi and Suri. Now, there's a special reason why this match happened. These two women are exact similar in a way. They're both strikers. From what I saw, those who don't know this, Konami's original look, she used to wrestle barefoot. And in this particular night, she wrestled barefoot. And she went back to her older roots, basically where it began. So this was one, instead of this was a good match. It was more like a striking match mixed with submission, kind of like catch wrestling, but it was a good one. But however, Konami told the other members of Odatai, do not get in her way. You see, Konami is one of 2 wrestlers who refuse to have anybody to help them. If you guys wondering who's the other person, that is of course B. Priestley. But however, it was Suri who actually overcame her this and put her in a submission and make Konami tap out. It was a good match. I think this is one of my top favorite matches of that night. Next match, another grudge match. This is another Ceiling versus Stardom. This is with Yoshiko versus, of course, the ace of Stardom, or she doesn't consider herself as an ace, Mayu Iwatani. This was one of those matches where it's the old guard versus the new guard. And, of course, Mayu's a very honorable person. When she extended her hand to shake her hand, Mayu knew for a fact that Yoshiko was going to flip her off right in her face. It was no surprise to her, because that's what Yoshiko does. She likes to flip people off. But it was a very intense match for Mayu, because Yoshiko is a very tough individual. But you could say there is no way Mayu could beat her, but somehow she did. It was a really intensified match. Another good one. I did enjoy this one too. But however, it was Mayu who picked up the victory, this time sending Yoshiko packing. Really good match. Now the main event match, this one is for the World of Stardom Championship. This one was the top title between Queen's Quest members. The challenger, Saya Kamitani versus Utami Hayashishida. Now these two know each other. Saya Kamitani is one of the most, I have to say, she has this great way of wrestling. How she, when I first saw her, I'm like, wow, blown away. But Iwatani is one of the most intensified people. I would not expect a whole lot. It was a good one. I enjoyed this one. It was, of course, Iwatani who won the match. But however, her party was crashed by her former friend and a former member of Queen's Quest. If you guys know this or not, I'm talking about B. Priestley. Yes, B. Priestley used to be a member of Queen's Quest until she turned her back. Any of you guys ever notice that mask that she wore before, like prior the early times of AEW, like a tiger mask? That's what Queen's Quest will wear. But yeah, so B. Priestley comes out saying she's the next challenger. So Iwatani is not worried or anything, but she's prepared for her one way or the other. Now the main event, this one is my top favorite of the night. This one, it's told an amazing story. This one was for the Wonder of Stardom title, or as they call it, the red belt, in a hair versus hair match between challenger Tam Nakano, the leader of Cosmic Angels, versus the leader of DDM, or Donna Demondo, Julia. This match was so good. Now, if you know this or not, Julia have already beaten Tam Nakano twice for this title, and she retained it. But however, the stipulation was hair versus hair. This match was so good. I was like enjoying it. Like, it was one of the best matches of the night. But however, the way this match ended is the most amazing, is where Tam was able to apply the German suplex and put Julia down for the 1-2-3. And after 3.5 long years for Tam to obtain her goal to win this title, is finally coming to fruition. She finally got what she wanted. But however, it's the post-match that kind of told a much different story. I mentioned this before. Julia set up the stipulation: loser must get their hair cut off. Now, Julia knows what she got herself into. She's not an idiot. But she knew she had to do, she's not afraid to get her hair shaved. But however, when she had Tam Nakano with the razor, Tam just stood there hesitating, crying. She didn't want to do this because it's not who she is. She's not the kind of person who would take something away from someone. she's a much honorable person than Julia has ever been. So in the end, Tam Nakano decided she's not going to do it, despite the fact that she won the match. But Julia's like, a deal's a deal. I'm doing it. But however, this is one of the that's what I love about this match. It was one of the best ones of the night. I mean, if you guys ever get the chance to see it, you will know why. So right now, let's end this episode with the last review. This one is from DDT Pro Wrestling. Doesn't Know Gunma Yet. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to review, this is coming from DDT Pro Wrestling. This one took place back in February 21st of this year. This one is an event called Doesn't Know Gunma Yet. So, I don't know. I think Gunma is a city or a section of the city. I'm not sure. So I did a little research on that. Or the venue, I'm not sure. But it was a interesting event, some interesting matches. The opening match is Keigo Nakamura versus the leader of Damnation, Daisuke Sazaki. Now, this match was really interesting because I've always seen Keigo as a strong, capable wrestler, but Daisuke is another wrestler that you know he's going to win because he's part of the heelish faction known as Damnation. But it was a good match, really interesting to pay attention. I liked it. It was really awesome. But in the end, it was Daisuke Sazaki who won this match. The next match is a no disqualification 2-on-1 match. This one has on one corner, then Shuko Dino teaming up with Toru Owashi taking on Kazuki Hirata. Now, Kazuki Hirata is another wrestler that is a fun wrestler to watch. All this guy wants to do is dance, even during the matches. He gets berated by two men, but every time he has one of those glasses to glow right here, he wants to dance. But no, Dino and Owashi will not let him. They even took away his glasses. But however, some people gave him their regular glasses, maybe think it could work. But however, party keeps ending in that way, thanks to Dino and Owashi crashing and making sure he does dance. And however, as you know, the 2-on-1, there's a chances that you may not come out of it as the sole survivor in the singles match on it. So Dino and Owashi won this one, but however, Hirata will always be a star into people's eyes, including to his friends. Even Keigo helped them out. Kind of weird. Next match is a tag team match. We got Yoshiko Okada teaming with Chris Brooks, taking on Toy Kojima and Yukio Ueno. This match was mostly dominated by, of course, Okada and Chris Brooks. It's kind of like interesting because, you know, Chris Brooks is a very tall dude. I don't know how tall he is, but he is tall. But he has great in-ring abilities that, you know, I could not describe, but it's great. But as for Yoshiko Okada, he has a great striking technique, and you know for a fact he can take you down. So they were mostly when I saw him, he was the one who put Toy Kojima in submission to make him tap out. As Yukio Ueno, he is, I think he is one of the champions. I'm not sure, but yeah. But however, it was Brooks and Okada that won the match. Next match, we got Mao and Shunma Katsumata taking on Yukio Naia and Yukio Sakaguchi. This is another good match that I like because, you know, I like Mao and Katsumata, who are a really good team. They even teamed up with various people, with the guys from All Out. It's a good match, but however, I was surprised to see Sakaguchi teaming with Naia because Sakaguchi is part of Eruption with his buddy Iguchi. So I was surprised, but it was a good combination between them because Naia is a very strong, tall competitor that you know he can chokeslam you through the ring mats if he wanted to. But in the end, it was, of course, Mao who actually won the match when he pinned both competitors, both Naia and Sakaguchi. Next match, we have Damnation members Soma Takawa, Yuji Hino, and Tetsuya Endo taking on Tony Honda, Kazusada Higuchi, and Harashima. Now, you know for a fact when it's Antonio Honda involved in this match ends with a bit of a comedy. You know Honda does this thing where he takes out your eye. He did that with almost all three members of Damnation. He started with Ino, but Endo and Takoa, they tried to evade it. They even got Tony Honda accidentally got Harashima, and of course, what's his name, Iguchi. But however, it ended with Endo picking up the victory because they know every trick that Honda makes. Even his comedy could not help him. But it was a good match to enjoy watching. Now the main event, this one is between All Out members Yukio Ino, Akito, and Konosuke Takeshita. You may have known that guy. Takeshita was in fact in AEW recently. He is, according to my understanding, could be one of the wrestlers that could return to AEW because DDT does have a strong relation with Kenny Omega. But however, this match was really good. They were taking on Junretsu, the consistent of Hideki Okitani, Makoto Oashi, and Jun Akiyama, who is the KOD openweight champion. It was a really strong match because with All Out, they are a fun unit to watch. I enjoyed everything they can do. They even are I think they're well now being recognized as a really interesting unit to follow in Japan. But however, it was Yuki Ino who actually pulled up the victory when he did like a somewhat version of the Vader Bomb, and I think he pinned Oishi on this one, and 1, 2, 3 they won. So that's what I like about DDT. They can mix wrestling in every way where there's a bit of comedy, a bit of taking things seriously. I enjoy it, so you guys should enjoy watch DDT if you guys ever get the chance to see it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode because I am, like I said, I've been far behind on many of the Japanese wrestling events that took place, coming from Stardom, Ice Ribbon, DDT. There's still more DDT to come on the next episode. I have another one that's coming from Ganbare called Pro Cliffhanger. That's coming up next. It's going to be alongside NXT UK and, of course, Impact Wrestling. So stay tuned for that. May upload that video the following day or so, but I'm not sure depending on my day. These events, I actually witnessed it yesterday, but I'm doing that right now for all of you guys, and it should be uploaded soon. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang!